What should you keep in your dog go bag? Your dog go bag is what you're going to be using when you are out and about with your dog, but also acts as an emergency kit should something happen. So this go bag is going to be a backpack. I recommend that it is a waterproof backpack with many pockets and zippers. You do not want just one section where you have to dig around for things. Have multiple sections, make it easy to find things, keep things in separate locations inside of this backpack. And you are taking this when you go out and about. So if you decide to go for a walk in the park, you're bringing this with you. If you are driving into town to pick something up, it goes in the car with you. If you go on vacation, this absolutely goes with you. And if something happens where you have an emergency situation, there's a fire in your house and you have to get out immediately. There's an emergency and you have to go to a place to check on a relative. This goes with you if you're bringing your dog. If you are traveling, this is going with you in an emergency capacity as well. So for this, we are treating this as our go bag, our out and about go bag. If you do want to level up just a little bit and have it as your emergency bag, I actually recommend having two, one for emergency situations and one as a go bag. You also want to make sure you're including a couple of meals worth of your dog food that you're swapping out to keep fresh. So every couple of weeks, you're just going to rotate that out and put new ones in so that if you have some kind of emergency where you are leaving and you do not have time to pack for your dog and you're going to have to buy food when you go there, this will at least have a couple meals to hold you over until you can get that food if you have some kind of emergency. That's your emergency. So this is your go bag, the out and about version. You're going to want to include an extra leash. Always have an extra leash in your go bag. This is if your leash breaks, if they chew through it, if you need to extend your leash, if something happens and you need a secondary leash, if you need two to control your dogs, if you lose it. Sometimes we will walk our dogs to the car with a leash and then it'll get tucked under the seat and you have to walk them immediately or something. Or, even if you are just a responsible dog parent and you see another dog by the side of the road that's clearly lost and you need to clip that on and handle it, you will always have that extra dog leash. Have the extra dog leash. You do not know when, where, or how you're going to need it, but you will regret it if you don't have it. This doesn't need to be fancy. It can be a cheap leash. You can go to just any store and get a cheap leash. Just have them in there. I actually recommend having more than one in there, especially if you have more than one dog, because you do not know what situations will arise, and that could be a total game changer for you. So have the extra leash. You also want to make sure that you're carrying a bottle of water. At all times, have a bottle of water in there. You can rotate it out every couple of weeks if you need to, but water stays for a really long period of time. So have the extra unopened water bottle in there should you need it. You also want a pop-up bowl so that if you need to be giving your dog water, you have it there. It is accessible to you. It's a collapsible silicone bowl. Now you can also have those it's kind of like a thermos, kind of like a water bottle. The bottom section will be available for the liquid, and then it has a scoop at the top where you can press a button and the water will, when it's tipped, flow into it to act as a bowl. And then when your dog is done drinking, you tip it back up, holding the button down. The water will go back down into the container and lock so it can't leak. So you can carry one of those as well. Just make sure you're washing it in between uses, but don't keep the water in there for prolonged periods of time. Just keep it in an actual water bottle that you have to break the seal to get into when you're going to use it. You also want to make sure that you are carrying water wipes. I cannot say enough about how much you need water wipes in your Go kit. This is just a baby product, so you can go to the baby aisle, you can get these, and they are to clean off your dog's eyes, their face, anywhere that's like a sensitive area on their body. The game changer is when it comes to after park walks, you can wash their paws off so they're not bringing dirt, debris, clay, mud, whatever into your car or into your house. This is also good for cleaning up accidents in the car, any car sickness or, any accidents. This is also really good if you're staying in a hotel or something, you have to clean things up. So that is, and water wipes are fantastic if you are out and about with your dog and you decide to go to like a cafe and it's kind of dirty and you don't want that ice cream on the table to be licked by your dog. So you're just going to clean it up with that water wipe. So it's cleaning areas for your dogs to protect them as well. You also want to make sure that you have emergency kit type things. So these are any first aid type things you're going to need. Gauze, if you need other types of bandages, if you are going to need a small pair of scissors to cut things out of their fur, maybe make sure you have those. I do recommend having a tick twister. So if you're out in public at any point, even if you're out in your yard, your dogs can get ticks. It's not great. Tick twisters allow you to just kind of stick it over the head of the tick, twist it and pop it off without leaving anything inside of your dog's body. Helpful for you as well. Always have those. Cotton swabs are things you're going to want. Any first aid sprays that are approved for dogs, you're going to want those as well. This is just should something happen, should they step on something, have an antihistamine in case they get stung by a bee or something while you're out and about. Have whatever you're going to need to protect them until you can get them home and take care of them, or until you can get to a vet to take care of that as well. Of course, you want to make sure that you have extra poop bags for your dog. Carry several rolls of them in your backpack. You can use these in all sorts of ways. So you can use them to pick up after your dog. If you have to clean up any car sickness in your car, also very helpful. You can use these to, not touch icky things outside if you have to move things or clean things up or whatever happens to be. If they're big enough, you can even put these over like the wheels of your dog stroller. If you have a tiny dog stroller and you have a puppy or a senior dog that can't walk on their own and you're carrying that protects from the mud as well. You can use this as like a glove if you have to touch a door that's really germy, whatever. You can use these in so many ways. Having extra poop bags is incredibly helpful, and you want to make sure that you've got a lot of those there for you for whatever you need. I also recommend you carry a handful of paper towels, not an entire roll, but like a handful. Rip a couple of them off, fold them up, stick them in a little Ziploc bag, and keep them inside of your bag in case you need it for anything. And then you can throw the trash in those poop bags, right? You want to make sure you've got functional things that are going to help you out with this. You can also keep any treats inside of your bag that you may need for training along the way or just rewarding your dog for good behavior. I also recommend keeping a small bit of dog food in there, not a full meal unless this is your emergency kit or you're traveling, but having a small amount of dog food that you can then use as treats, as rewards, as lures is going to be helpful. And then you don't have to give them all the calories of the big treats. You do not have to give them, or you don't even have to take up the space of all those treats or the weight of all those treats in the bag. Lightweight for this is going to be best. And of course, anything else that you're going to need while you're out and about. So think of your lifestyle. Think of what you do with your dogs, where you're going, where you typically go, how you might be able to function with that. You may want sunglasses for your dogs or a hat if you're somebody who goes out to cafes and just has your dog sit with you while you're eating lunch. You may want to have a little blanket. You may want to carry a bandana for cute photo ops. Anything that's going to function with your life should be kept inside of this bag. Now the bag, again, you want waterproof. You want lots of pockets. It can be one strap. If you do have a one strap bag that might fling over your head if you lean down to do something with your dogs, just be aware of that. You do want to have padded handles. That is going to be really important because you're carrying this bag around a lot, especially if you're like out hiking with your dog. You want to make sure it's comfortable while you're at your walks in the park. You want to make sure that it's going to be functional to fit inside of your car and not have an issue. And then you want to make sure the zippers are really good on this. I also recommend clipping on some carabiners. You do not know what you're going to need these for, but they're incredibly helpful for holding poop bags. If you don't have a poop bag holder, which I recommend, I'll link one down in the Pet Lifestyle Amazon page that I'll link for you if you want the products I was talking about today. But then the carabiners, I use them when I'm at the beach. I clip my flip-flops to them, and then I don't have to worry about finding them again later or carrying them while I'm also dealing with dogs. So having those there allows you to clip things. If you find things along the way, if you pick something up, and here's another pro tip, carry like one of those collapsible tote bags. Sometimes they fold up these tiny little tote bags that are meant for like, if you go to the grocery store, you can use that for your groceries instead of having to pay for a bag there or whatever. Have those just little collapsible ones in case you find something along the way. If you need to pick something up and carry it with you, you can then just have it in this little tote bag that was collapsed inside of your bag. And you can even clip it to the carabiner and you don't have to carry it yourself. We're here for the hacks. So clip on a couple of carabiners, make sure you have those ready to go. And then I would also recommend having like an extra collar for your dog inside of your go bag as well, just in case something happens. They pull out of theirs, it gets stretched out, they're playing with their sibling and it gets stretched out, it gets wet and disgusting and you don't want it on them. If they're like playing in ponds and things, have extras, have backups. Anything that's going to keep them safe is what you want to have there. If you have your dogs on harnesses and you can fit a cheap, easy harness in there, it doesn't have to be the same as your normal everyday harness, but have a backup, have an extra. That's going to be really good for you as well. Something light, breathable. It's kind of like a mesh just for walking, not for necessarily any of the other things that you'd be using it for, but have the backups. Keep them in your kit. Make sure you've got them, and then you'll be good to go and you won't be lacking when you need them. Follow along for more ideas on things that you can carry inside of your go bags that you can be using, extra tips for safety while you're out with your dog, travel tips, etc. We are here to make sure that you are living your best dog parent life and functioning at the best level you can with as much ease as you can so that you can enjoy your time with your dogs and you don't have to constantly be worrying about what's going on around you. You can just know that you are prepared and ready to go and you can have the best time while you're out and about. We'll see you in the upcoming episodes.